Jay Boulware. Greg.
So Jay, just start, give us the overview of the room. Obviously everybody wants to know about Cam Cook, but start with him and give us a little bit on everybody.
I think the room as a whole, due to the leadership and the camaraderie between the group, has been growing tremendously through fall camp this summer. We were pretty much all together this summer as well and this spring. And so I like where the room itself is at. Cam has done an excellent job of leading that room, giving examples, teaching some of the younger guys, the ways, and more importantly, just how to be a college football player and understand, some of the things that I'm saying that they may not understand because they haven't been in the fire. They don't understand the intensity level that we bring every day. It's just something that I've been really pleased with that group and how they've taken that. They've really flourished and really have done a great job of just trying to get better every day, win the day.
Coached for a lot of different guys, and you've been in this a long time. How have you adjusted to this style and this system and the way Rich does things here?
Because I've been in for a long time, I've seen a lot, done a lot. This offense is very similar to a lot of other offenses I've run in terms of, some of the plays are still the same. We're still running counter, power, inside zone, outside zone. You know what I mean? So those things are the same. The techniques and fundamentals that are associated with those things are things that I'm very familiar with. I'm very familiar with coaching guys in multiple positions in multiple areas, which is what we're asking those guys to do. I told the guys the other day, I said, when I was at Oklahoma, I was not only the running back coach, I was a fullback coach and the tight end coach for 4 or 5 years. We had 3 fullbacks that end up being all Big 12 guys. Everybody talks about my running backs, but really it was the complement of both, in that room from some of those kids there and whatnot. So, there's been no, issues with, adjusting from one offense to another. I'm a football coach at the ultimate. I've coached O-line, I've coached running backs, I've coached all special teams, I've coached, tight ends. So there's a lot that I've done at this level and been very good at it.
So football's football.
Football's always football.
Terminology, you may call it something different, but it's the same
Absolutely.
stuff.
May call it something different, have a different approach, may run faster plays, but, I've been in offenses that did the same thing too, coaching with Gus Malzahn, a coach with Lincoln Riley, you know what I mean? Those are all offensive guys, coaches in another line of great play callers that I've worked for, and I feel very privileged to be here.
You talked about coaching fullbacks in the past too. Can you talk a little bit about your work with Caden Luke since joining the program and just kind of what the use and expectations for him are?
Well, I don't set the expectations. I tell those guys we're always fighting to get on the field, put somebody else on the bench. Let's play our personnel grouping. Instead of putting another tight end out there, let's play with a fullback or another tailback. So we try to do the very best we can every time we step on the field and execute every single play. So coach wants to call our number. That's our goal. We want to be on the field as much as possible. And if that means sitting another position group down, then that's what we're going to do.
How do you know when a young running back is ready to get in games?
He does what I ask him to do.
Can you talk a little bit about Cam Cook? He carried a hefty load last year at Jacksonville State. It seems like he's probably going to have to carry a primary load this year as well. Do you have any concerns or any mitigation strategies to ward off injuries or just general wear and tear, or is he kind of embracing it?
I always have somewhat concern with my starters. I do manage those guys. I try to do as good a job as I can in spreading the workload in practice and still get them the work that they need to be prepared. Cam is a really smart football player, so it doesn't take him a whole lot to learn. He's not a rep guy. He can go out there and do it, and you can tell him something one time and he'll do it the very first time, and so that has allowed us to implement Amari in some of those situations, with that first unit, because I know Cam knows what he's doing. He's been there, he's been in the battle, and then as well as getting some of the other guys. Everybody moves up a notch when I sit Cam out for a series or whatever. So that's been very helpful. He understands what we're doing, and like I said, I always manage my backs. That's part of my job, to make sure I keep them healthy.
Is Amari similar to any running backs you've coached before? Any young running backs? He's a big kid, but he's still fast, and you've been coaching for a while. So is he similar to anybody?
I've been looking at his running style, man, and I think they're all different. You know what I mean? I guess the one guy that I would, I tell him body-wise, his build is similar to Ramondre Stevenson. His build is similar to Samaje Perine. Those guys are all big, thick guys, and they were thick from the very first time they stepped on campus to the time that they're in the NFL. And so that's what he looks like now. How he plays, every runner is different. They all have different things that they do that are assets to football teams, and Amari's no different in that regard. He is more physical than I would expect a freshman to be, probably because he's just so that big, you know what I mean? But, man, he's been a joy to coach, and try to get him ready to go for the big time. And I just look forward to his growth, and really everybody's growth, man. Success is a journey. It's not a destination. So no matter where they are, you know what I mean, we're continually, on the rise. We're trying to get better every single day, wherever we are. And that's what we're going to keep doing as long as I'm the running back coach here.
What steps do you think a good runner has to take to become a great runner?
That's a good question, and it's different for every back, right? Some guys might need to be a little bit better at pass protection. Some guys may need to be a little bit better at making guys miss or understanding what they do. So, I mean, it's all encompassing. You know what I mean? You need to be well-rounded. In an offense like ours, you need to be a well-rounded player. You got to be able to run, block, and catch. And that's what I'm harping on our guys. I want them to be versatile, and I think that's what the guys in the NFL look for. That's why I think I've had so many backs through the years get picked up in the NFL, because they are able to do a number of different things.
How about attitude-wise? I mean,
No problem there. They're phenomenal. They're in line with what we're doing, what our head coach is doing. They're 100% bought in, and they enjoy it when they go out and practice. They don't enjoy me yelling at them, so they try to limit that. But they're 100% all in with what we got going on, and I look forward to seeing them work on Saturdays.
Coach, we talk about Cam Cook being a great rusher. What have you seen from him on the receiving side?
Phenomenal, man. He is a really good receiver. He catches the ball well out the backfield. We have to run routes on the perimeter. He does a good job there too. There's not any holes in his game. You know what I mean? He can do everything. He can run, he can block, he can catch. Those are the things that make NFL caliber backs. They want guys that can do everything. And I'm harping on that with him and trying to get him to understand that that's what it takes to be in the NFL. And he's listening because, like I said, we got a number of guys that, have played for me in the past that are in the NFL, and he knows that he knows who they are and how productive they were.
What about some of your other younger backs? Boswell, Talley, Autry, give us your look at them.
Man, the guy that, of that crew, I like what all of them are doing. They all bring something to the table, man. Boswell with his speed. He's got tremendous, tremendous speed, man. If you don't take a good angle, he's gone. Talley is probably the one that I've been the most pleased with after the first two. He's got something special, man. And I said it from the day that I first saw him on the field. He's smooth. He kind of glides. He's got speed. He understands how to get down low and finish runs. You know what I mean? And so, and he's fearless. He'll go in there and run. I mean, he's got something to him that I really like. I look forward to coaching that kid over the next several years here and seeing how he continues to develop, because I think he's going to be special as well.
Ball.
He's really good. He can catch. He needs to work on blocking a little bit. He knows that. That's not a secret. He's not as big as the other guys, so he's got to bring it every time. You know what I mean? But he's put on some good weight, man. He came in here at 180 something. He's 190 something pounds now, and so. I've been really pleased with the work that our strength staff has done with him, our dietitians, and everybody in this building has done a great job with our running backs, man, and got them ready to go.
The two backs you mentioned, Oklahoma, P. Ryan and Stevenson, they're like plus receivers for big guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were in college. You would know better than me, but did they have that in college, or that's something that came to them in the pros? Or
Ramondre was always a good receiver.
Right.
P. Ryan, Joe Mixon was a good receiver. Rodney Anderson. I mean, that was required in our offense, for those 5 years that you guys remember that Oklahoma team coming up here with with those different quarterbacks, and they had to be able to catch in that offense. So that's what those guys, our guys, are doing the same thing here.
is there a difference with that? Like a guy who's 5'10", 200, right? A slot back, let's say, who could very easily do that, and a guy who's as big as Amari or any of the guys you mentioned there. Are there differences, or is it, hey, you're just a bigger guy with the same expectations?
No, you can either catch or you can't. There's some fat guys that can catch really good, too, so it has nothing to do with your size, you know what I mean? Now, that may affect, your route running ability, but it's not going to affect whether or not you can catch the ball or not.
You mentioned the physicality for Amari. Is that unique for a true freshman like that at running back? And how important is it for him to have it right now at this age?
Well, you got to have something, right? You got to be super fast, or big and strong and physical. You know what I mean? No, it's not. It's not abnormal. Samaje was like that, coming out. I hate to keep talking about backs from another school, so let's get off of those guys. But no, that's not uncommon. You just got to teach those kids how to play with it. Not every big kid can do what Amari does, though. Let's make sure we say that. I mean, you can be a big guy and not have that skill set. Amari has that skill set. He even though he's a big guy, he can move like a smaller guy. And that's what makes him special.
Blocking usually the hardest thing for a young back to pick up.
Pass protection, yes. Not just a young back, collegiate backs in general. That's something that running back coaches all over the country, have to work diligently on teaching those guys. That's one of the first things that when I first started coaching running backs, I ended up going to Stanford for a year, and I ran into a guy by the name of Bill Walsh. And I asked him a simple question because he was working in the building at the time, and I said, what's one thing that I can work on with our backs that you think that they really need to learn how to do? And he looked right at me and said, one thing, teach them how to pass protect. And so that's something I've been harping on our guys with, and I tell them that story too. There's an NFL Hall of Fame coach, won many Super Bowls, and that's the advice he gave me for being a running back coach, because he said he was a running back coach for the Raiders when he first entered the league. So that's what we have. That's what we spend time learning how to do that.
What are some of the things that you have to teach them to make them better pass protectors? Is it positioning, explosion, hands? What are the things that you've really got to emphasize?
All of that. All of that. It's the hardest thing to do for not only running backs, but also offensive linemen coming out of high school. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not an easy task. It's something totally different. There's a technique behind it. And, not a lot of guys know how to teach that. Me being a former O-lineman and a former O-line coach, I know how to teach that. And so I work on that very diligently with our guys.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.